Statements expressed on the program are solely those of Investor Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. This is Investor Schooling Live with your host, Larry Steinhaus, CEO of Investor Schooling.
All right, everybody, good afternoon and welcome to Investor Schooling Live. Hey, Investor Schooling Live is transmitting from the Investor Schooling Studios right here in the Investor Schooling headquarters. I am Larry Steinhaus and I am the CEO of Investor Schooling. I want to thank you for listening and I want you to get ready to learn real estate investing, stock option trading, and so many more things about money I bet you didn't know. Hey, you can call us anytime during the show. We'd love it when you call us. It's just so much fun. Actually, the callers make the show. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. Get out your phone, start dialing. 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. Hey, we are a live show, and you can call us anytime during the show, and we'll take your call. Don't worry about the topic. We'll take your call about anything that has to do with money, finance, even politics. Hey, by the way, we're also live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Oh, actually, one of our YouTube channels got shut down. I'll have to tell you about that in a minute. You can leave comments there as well.
Why am I not surprised about that at all?
And if you're watching online, by the way, if you're watching online, please say hi. It's the only way I know you're watching is when you make a comment. Hey, by the way, at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing, stock options trading, how to save money and taxes, how to be financially free, and we even give you the motivation to make money work for you instead of you working for money. Investor Schooling is located in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, right off the Newtown Bypass, serving the New Jersey and greater Philadelphia areas in a real brick-and-mortar building. Our students are also located in several states with our exclusive web access to our classes and seminars. Hey, get ready to learn something new. Get ready to learn the business of entrepreneurship, real estate investing, and stock option trading from your friendly neighborhood financial expert. That's me, Larry Steinhaus, and Dr. Deb Anderson.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
So a couple of people have said to me, Deb, that I should now say, instead of, like when I do this, hey, it's Larry Steinhaus, welcome to Investor Schooling. So a couple of people said I should say it's Larry Steinhaus with my co-host, Deb Anderson.
So maybe you should consider that,
I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence on that one.
Give me a break. I'm like half the face of the school anyway. You should just do it.
No, you're the prettier face of the school, first of all. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
No, there you go. I'll just go with that. You can keep complimenting me. Just feel free.
Absolutely. We've already had compliments to you. Today we had a compliment from Gary Arnell, who does the show after us. We had a compliment. He just popped in and said hi to me.
I know I missed that. I wish I came in earlier.
And he gave you a compliment. And then Glenn, hey Glenn, you there?
Yes.
What do you think of Deb?
Pressure's on, Glenn. Pressure's on.
She's all right.
I'm all right.
She's all right.
She's all right.
No, she's wonderful.
Isn't she great?
Wonderful.
Right?
Thank you, Glenn.
So we had that as well. We had Glenn also say good things about you. This is all before the show,
I know. That's what I mean. I wish I came in like 5 minutes earlier just so I could hear all the compliments.
I know
from Glenn,
it was great. I mean, I know Gary ran out. He went to do his research for his show, but it was great when he gave you a compliment. I was like, wow, I wish you were here to hear it. But you were too busy getting me coffee.
Yes, that's what I do. I get coffee for Larry. That's the most important of my jobs here at the school is to get Larry coffee.
What's that word? Masochistic? What's the word? What's the word?
Masochistic?
Is that like the people who womenizers or?
Yeah, you can.
Right.
Yeah. You
can. Is that what I am? How do you say the word?
I think.
How do you say the word, Glenn?
Misogynistic.
Misogynistic. Yeah,
that's
what
you're trying to say.
Is that what I am? If I make you get me coffee?
No, I think it's other things you do that.
Shh, Linda might be listening. Shh, quiet.
No. Remember who was the woman that you had on who does your properties?
Audrey.
Yeah. Audrey. So, do you remember you were having some tech issues and Audrey and I were just having a conversation,
right,
and it was going really well. And you said something about you guys can keep talking about recipes or something. That was a misogynistic.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a very misogynistic comment.
Well, you getting me coffee is not.
I think at this point I'm just so used to doing it that it's just part of my job, and I just do it.
What do I know? This is what happens. So I'm going to be 60 in November.
Yeah.
Right? And I always noticed that. You ever noticed that when you were younger, older people were able to talk dirty and say things that you weren't allowed to say? So I believe I've earned the right.
Is that what it is?
To say stuff like this now.
I think that now that we have a new person on board, which I'm really excited about, that she'll be getting all the coffee for everybody. So this way I don't have to do it.
You have
And
to
she's
teach her, that's
younger,
right. That's
and
right.
she's younger, so she won't like take offense to it. Whereas I'm just
There you
like,
go.
whatever,
Yes.
it doesn't matter.
Yes, we have new blood in the school.
Yes, I'm
We
excited.
actually hired a new student liaison. Her name is Hannah. Maybe one day we'll have her in the radio.
Yeah, I think we should.
But she's awesome. She's actually a go-getter. She's been helping us talk to students and talk to people coming in. It's
And
great.
it's great because she does the stuff that I absolutely hate to
I
do.
know,
Oh,
I know.
I love that. I love that
And all
so
the
much.
stuff that I hate to do too.
Yeah. So
And you do a lot of stuff that I hate to do too, like
I do all
be on
this
the radio every Saturday.
I'm getting used to it. What are you doing today? I'm like, I think I got to go on the radio show today. So that's
I know
all
it's
good.
actually fun, isn't it?
No, it's good. It
And
works
like you
out.
said earlier, the hour goes by so fast.
The hour does go by quick.
I know. We're
so.
gonna have to one day we might have to team up with Gary Arnell. So his show at 3:00, it'll be the Larry Steinhaus, Deb Anderson, and Gary Arnell show.
Oh, there you go.
You know.
Yeah, then I'll get like famous. People will actually recognize me, maybe, or
Yeah,
they'll
maybe,
recognize my voice,
maybe.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
have to say like some key term or something so everybody knows it's me.
Exactly. It would be so much fun.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
gotta come
So
up with something.
there's all kinds of cool stuff going on in the world right now.
Okay.
And one of the cool things that's going on in the world right now is Biden is actually, I don't know if you heard this, Biden is actually going to definitely announce his run for presidency or his
Oh no, I did not
Candidacy
hear that.
again.
But I am not anywhere near into politics as you are. I
Now,
kind of get my. stuff
I don't
from
really
it.
care. I mean, so I kind of backed off politics since I stopped doing my morning show, and honestly, it's funny. I'm happier now. Do you know that when you don't think about what's going on in the world, you actually are happier?
Yeah, it's like I'm not a big fan of watching the news just because it's so depressing.
Oh, I agree.
So
Right.
so that means I'm not always up with the times. That's why I always relied on your show to know what the
Yeah,
heck was
that's
going
funny.
on.
Right, it's funny you say
Yeah.
that because I relied on my shows where I would know what's going on too.
Yeah, so-
And then the funny part was I did not know this. Somebody had texted me, I don't know, a couple of days ago. Actually, I put a post up because we had talked about our. If you remember, we did a show. I'm not a show, but we did a class on Thursday about credit scores.
Yeah, that was.
And it was a great class. Well, I'm
It
going
was
to
so
get
much
into the
fun.
class in a second,
Yeah,
but I want to
yeah,
talk about first. I want to talk about what happened when I posted it on Facebook. I posted it on Facebook. Hey, we're doing a class tonight on credit scores, how to build credit, how credit scores work, how to get you guys know that I have $818,500 available credit on credit cards. Available credit on credit cards, $818,500 available credit on credit cards, which is unheard of by almost anyone out there because they don't even understand why I would do that.
Right.
However, so I put a post up there about that I'm going to be doing this, and someone said, why would you want to have a great credit score when Biden's going to punish you?
I saw that. I did see that
And
post.
it was the first time I honestly heard of it, and being someone who follows the news and follows finances, I can't believe that I missed this. So I've done a lot of research on it, and it's just like everything else in the world, it's sensationalized.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what I discovered for those of you who want to know about what this is and what the story is with this.
Okay.
And then I'll give you my opinion.
Okay.
Okay. So here's what happens. There's a certain scale that of either points or percentage points. So in other words, let's say you have a really bad credit score because your credit score is really bad. Whatever, the bank tacks on an extra 0.5%.
Interest.
Interest, and then and it affects your payment, of course, right?
Yeah.
And if you have a really good credit score, the bank may minus a 0.5 point.
Right.
Just these are. By the way, I'm just using these numbers for reference.
Yeah.
I looked up the numbers. They were so complicated to figure out what they were and how they figure it out that I can't even give you the exact numbers.
Okay.
So basically, it was a pretty big difference. So if you had a low credit score, let's say a 600 credit score, and they tacked on whatever it may, maybe they tacked on a full percentage point. Again, I'm making these numbers up. If they tacked on a full percentage point, and if you had a 750 credit score, and they took off a full percentage point, that would be a 2-point spread from bad credit to good credit. You
Okay.
got it?
Yeah, I think
So now they're saying, okay, because you have a good credit score, the rumor is you're now going to pay 2% more. If they take that away, if they take it away completely, they're not going to take it away completely. But if they take it away completely, then you would pay 2% more than somebody with a low credit score, which is not exactly accurate.
Okay.
The difference wouldn't be 2% anymore. It would be less.
So you'd pay more interest if you have a better credit score? Is that what you're
It's not
saying?
that you pay more interest. You don't get as much of a discount.
All right.
So here's what they propose, and I believe it's actually passed, and I believe it's effective as of May 1st.
Okay.
So instead of, and let's say that the scale was 1 and 1, we used it before. And again, I don't know what the numbers are exactly. It's because I tried to look them up, and I really wanted to have them for this show, but they were so complicated to figure out what the numbers were because there's like all these charts and it depends on this and it depends on that, it depends on anything. So in the example I gave you, somebody had a 600 credit score and they would ding a percentage point. So in other words, if the average mortgage rate was 7, they would pay 8.
Right.
And if you had really great credit, if the average credit score was 7, you would pay 6. So it's a 2% difference,
Okay.
right? Between 8 and 6.
Okay.
What Biden did was said, we're not going to punish the people with 1%. We might only punish them with 0.5%. And we're not going to give the people who have great credit scores as much of a discount. We're going to, instead of 1%, we're going to make it 0.5%. Again, these numbers I'm just using for example.
Right.
So instead of the spread being 2%, the spread will now be 1%.
Okay.
So are they punishing people with good credit scores? I don't know. I mean, it's just they're not. If you're not giving somebody an extra bonus that they've been giving for years and years and years, does that mean you're punishing them? And then now if you take people with low credit scores who now, they were getting pretty badly beat up.
Yeah.
If you're helping them, first of all, helping them, I agree with. So if somebody has a 600 credit score and you can help them, great. But taking down, lowering the difference or the benefit of having a high credit score, just lowering a little bit doesn't mean that he's punishing people. Look, it turns out to be about $40 a month for those with a $400,000 mortgage.
Okay.
So I've had people say to me, "Oh, I'm going to ruin my credit score just so I don't get punished." I'm like, "Well, that's really dumb."
Yeah, that's silly.
Yeah,
that's
for a lot of reasons, it's dumb.
Yeah.
However, look, it is what it is. They're trying to even the score. They're trying to make it a little bit better for people with low credit scores, and I happen to like that idea. I know everybody thinks that hey, I'm this great big capitalist, and I don't believe in helping the poor. I actually believe in helping the poor. I just want to have choice in helping the poor.
Yeah.
I don't want to help a poor person who takes money from you and then wastes it on something and then takes more money from you and wastes it on something and takes more money. I don't believe in that. And it's a behavior problem, and that person has a behavior problem, and that behavior has to change. But if I could help that person while they're going through their behavior change, I have no problem with that. I actually think it's great. So if you take somebody with a low credit score, maybe a 600 credit score, who couldn't afford $50 might make a difference, right? In whether they can afford to buy this house or not buy this house. Now, to you and me, we can't even fathom $50 making a difference. We can't. And it's hard to explain it that when you try to say to somebody, hey, $50 makes a difference for somebody whether they can buy a house. You're like, well, maybe they shouldn't buy a house would be my response to that. But $50 to somebody might make a difference, and if they buy that house, it might help them. So if we can help them with that $50, great. I'm all for it.
Okay.
Now, we're not punishing somebody with a 750 credit score because they could certainly afford the $40 discount that they weren't getting any. It's a discount. It's not like we're raising interest rates for those people. It's a discount. And look, so what? So you're gonna go ruin your credit score because you don't want to pay $40 more? That's just plain silly.
Yeah.
It's just plain silly.
I see where you're going.
So don't I look. I'm the one who drove around with a Let's Go Brandon car, So I'm not for Biden, all right? But I just want to, I like to be the voice of reason in a lot of these things because the rumor mill makes all of these policies that Biden comes up with worse than they really are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the rumor mill makes it worse. And I've actually, my old show, I used to examine them and I used to break them apart. I mean, some of the Second Amendment stuff, when I broke it apart, it was nothing. It was like, the most sweeping gun law change was that they can now look back for an 18-year-old whose records were sealed. They can now look into those records if he applies for a gun, which I think they should do anyway.
Yeah.
So that was the most sweeping gun law ever in the last 20 years or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they made a big deal of it. So again, with this, I mean, okay, I'm sure there's somebody's going to call me up and go, "How dare you think we should pay $40 more?" Whatever. You know what? It's a discount. It's not they're just taking away a discount. They're not charging you more. I realize it sounds the same. It is not. By the way, if you want to have a discussion about this, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. I wonder if I fired anybody up.
I think what you're trying to say, or maybe this is how I'm hearing it, is that for somebody who has a higher credit score, it's not going to really impact your life that much, where you're still going to go out to dinner.
It's not. That's not necessarily a great. The way I want to look at it. The way I want to look at it is they're not punishing you. They're just taking away. They're taking away a part
of a discount
they used to give you.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
So 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137 is our number. You can call me. Glenn is our producer. He will put you on the phone with me and Dr. Deb. Did I do that wrong? Or was it Dr. Deb and I? It's Dr. Deb.
Oh,
and
you
I.
know what? I always struggle with the I and the me. I always
it's
struggle
Dr.
with that.
Deb and I.
Yeah.
With Dr. Deb and me.
No, it's not
No,
Dr. Deb and me. It's Dr. Deb and I.
I think it is I. But
No, it's me. You're right. No, it's me. That's right.
don't know. I
No, me
always-
was right. It's because you put me on the phone with me, not I. Put me on the phone with me, and it would be Dr. Deb and
Whatever.
me.
That's
right.
why why I'm a strong believer in editors. There you go.
See,
Plug for
but
editors.
you're a writer.
And I rely on editors when I
Wait a
get
minute.
stuck on that stuff.
You're a writer, and you don't know the difference between me and I?
No, I know the difference, but I always get confused as to.
All right.
You have to use me after you use I. You have to use I first. Depends on the
Me
sentence.
is the direct object.
Whatever. Just
I
let it
is
go.
when it's, I
All right,
is
let's
when
move
it's
on.
the subject.
All right.
I can write really
All right.
well, but
All right,
leave it alone.
here's the interesting part. I got to tell you something really funny. And Glenn, I'm not going to insult you in this. I'm just going to make a point, right?
Okay.
So Deb has a PhD, right? And I have to tell you that she in her other business, Deb makes a lot of money. So let's go down to pay grade here, right? So the pay grade is Deb makes the most money in. She doesn't have the most money, but she makes the most money in salary or annual income, right? And she is a writer. Then there's me. I make the second of the three of us, and then there's you, Glenn. Did you notice?
How do you know?
Because Glenn, I'm not. Listen, the numbers
How do you know?
the numbers that Deb and I make are very high, and the numbers you make can be high, and they still won't catch up. Okay, I wasn't trying to insult you. I was just trying to say that it's interesting that the lower pay grade knows English better than the two higher pay grades. That's the point I was trying to make, and I was trying to do it without insulting you.
Thank you.
I know. I was gonna say. I think that's a compliment. Just go with it. Just go with it. Yeah.
That
Just
makes
go
me
with it.
feel better about I.
Whatever.
Whatever.
The
But-
smartest person in the room is the dumbest person. How's
There
that?
you go. I've learned that the more I learn, the less I know. That's what I've learned. So that's what I've learned.
All right, 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. We were talking about Biden's, changing the mortgage rate discount.
Yeah.
And it's not a big deal to me. Some of the other things that he was proposing to do that they couldn't even get started, like the tax changes. They never happened anyway.
I don't.
So,
Do you think that he'll? I mean, because clearly we're not Biden fans, but I mean, I wonder. Does he think he has a chance at winning again? Especially since he has, no mental capacity.
I
there?
want him to win.
Okay.
You know why I want him to win?
Why is that?
So we can have 4 more years of laughter.
Yeah, but I mean.
I don't really want him to win. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
I don't know. I guess I just have my reservations, but whatever. I mean, we'll see what happens.
He didn't win the first time.
But he's not even.
Wait, I can't say that because I'll be thrown off YouTube again. Oh, Biden,
so what happened with
was
your YouTube channel?
Clearly the winner.
What happened to your YouTube
I don't know.
channel?
Some one of the old shows that I did, one of the Money Chat Now shows. They must have been searching for, hey, we haven't thrown anybody off of YouTube for a while. So they must have, and it was something that was up there for so long. It was up there for so long that I don't know how it happened, but it came back as something. All right. Anyway, we got Rob. What's going on, Rob?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, is this are you assuming having a high credit score means that people with high credit scores have more money, more cash available than people with low credit scores, so that gives them more chance to pay a little more? And is this a Biden policy?
All right. So all of those questions are all different questions, believe it or not. So that's kind of weird. So people who have lots of money might not have a high credit score,
Right.
and people who have no money can have a very high credit score. So credit score has nothing to do with how much money you have.
Yep.
It basically so how credit scores are figured is they're trying to figure out if you're going to default on a loan. So there's a mathematical formula that figures out the likelihood of you defaulting on a loan, and that registers in a credit score of somewhere between 300 and 850. If you have an
Based on
850,
history, payment history.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Actually, when you hang up, when we're done, when you hang up, I'll go through the numbers with you if you'd
Yeah.
like, if I can find my book, because I don't have.
You know what's interesting is
But
a
I'll
lot
go
of
through
people
them.
have asked about.
What would you say, Rob?
No, that's all right. I've had other issues that are bothering me. The trade union retirement fund lost a lot of money last year, and I'm on a fixed income. That's why when I
Right.
call up, I'm going to help out some poor people. My poor girlfriend, her adult son, and it seems like to me the middle class has to help out the lower class, the poor people. While those that make these stupid laws are millionaires. They're all millionaires, and it just
Of course.
they got to do everything from abolish the electoral college to removing these stupid laws about you can't make it if you're 62 and you're collecting Social Security, you can only make a certain amount of money. Come on, give me a break, for God's sake. So if you make 23,000, you can't make 24,000. So you have to live like poorly because of these stupid laws.
Well,
And it's not a democracy. We don't live in a democracy, and it's an electorocracy. One vote for a president, one person, one vote equals part of an electoral vote. It's not a democracy, and they keep telling us our democracy. Right? Just get rid of all these regulations on low incomes. Just frustrating.
so
Yeah.
so you know what,
Now,
Rob? I'm gonna tell you. You sound older than me. How old are you?
67. Thank you.
67.
67. Yeah, thank you. I don't feel it. Yeah,
No,
I
that's
feel
okay.
like
You're not that much older than me. You just sound
older.
older than me. You know. So here's what.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I actually
that's good.
I used to get all angry about all this stuff. I used to get angry about how the illegal aliens crossed the border and they took my tax money and they got free education and free food and all this stuff. And a while back, I don't know, a few years ago, 10, whatever, maybe 8 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever. I made the decision. I realized something, that even if they stopped giving all the people that I didn't want the money to go to that money,
Yeah.
my taxes would still not
Yeah.
be lower. They would find another place to put that money. So you know what I figured out? I figured out that the best thing for me to do was to give the government the least amount of taxes I can give them legally, not illegally, but legally. So
Right.
Right. So if I learn how, and this is what we teach in investor schooling, if I learn how to pay less taxes, I don't care. So, and I don't know how much taxes you pay, Rob, but if you pay more taxes than me,
H&R Block. They do miracles for me. If I was doing it myself, I wouldn't be getting much because there's little ins and outs that they know that I didn't know.
All right,
I
so-
did a basic 1040 form.
All right, so-
I have it done. I don't have a computer. I have to do this. And that. Go to someplace and have it done. You
All
don't
right.
have to worry about.
Hold on,
being
Rob.
rugged.
Hold
You'd
on.
be surprised what you can get.
hold on, Rob. It's not just going to H&R Block and having your taxes done. And actually, I got to be honest with you, I don't know if I would recommend H&R Block. I would recommend a really good accountant. But in your case, H&R Block might be fine. But you have to understand, once you learn how to lower your taxes, then you bring that information to your accountant, whether it's H&R Block or anybody else. You bring that information to your accountant, and you will end up paying less taxes. But Rob, you're awesome. I love it. I love your energy.
Learn that.
I got to go. I got somebody else on the call, so I got to run on. So thanks so much, Rob. All right, what's going on, Frank? What do we got?
Hey, Larry, how you doing?
All right, man.
Good. I have a question about credit scores. Around 20 years ago, I forget exactly when, around 2003, I had to file bankruptcy.
Okay.
How much does that affect your credit score?
Now? 20 years ago? From 20 years ago to now?
Yes.
It should be completely off your credit. They don't even know it exists anymore.
Okay, good. I was good before then, except for 2 years in college. That was great. I was great after that. But something happened. I had to file bankruptcy. Didn't have a choice, and I filed bankruptcy, and that was it.
Yeah. So
Did you know, Larry, at that time I was told it would be in your record for 7 years. They won't hold it against you. But the bank I was dealing with, my mortgage, I had an account there, but no interest. 7 years later, I thought they would give me my interest back. They didn't do that. Can banks do that?
I'm not sure what your question was.
I had a car loan. I had to lose the car. I couldn't afford. I had to file bankruptcy.
Okay.
I had a bank account there, savings and checking. Whatever interest I earned, they said, no, you lose interest. You can keep an account here, but you have zero interest on it. That's it. I kept an account there because I had my mortgage there. My direct deposit went to there, and that was it.
All right. Well, in in those years, so the last probably 20 years, nobody was making any interest on checking accounts or savings accounts anyway. So that you might be mixing that up with two different things. I don't know. But there are, and I always thought you were going to say this, and I'm wondering if this is what you're referring to, that if you had a car loan with the bank that you had a checking account with, and you didn't make your car loan, they automatically took your money out of your checking account. Is that what you're saying?
No, I did have a car loan, but then I just gave the car to my uncle. He took over the payments. So that was it. I'm just giving an example.
Okay.
I kept my mortgage. I kept paying my mortgage. I had a personal loan through them that I defaulted on. I couldn't afford to pay things at the time.
Okay. And then you let it go.
There was other anyway, can you start the Deb a question, please?
Sure.
What can I answer for
Dr.
you?
Deb, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What can I answer for you?
Hey, I'm going back a little bit. I remember when you first came on with Larry. It's a little personal, but not that personal. Is there still a car parked in your living room?
No,
Remember
no,
you had
it's
a car
not.
parked in your living room?
Yeah, I do remember that the car was parked there for quite a while. Yes, so everything is finally fixed,
I know.
and it took I think until like February or March of this past year for everything to finally get fixed. So it took over a year for everything to get fixed. Yeah, but I can
I
tell
know
you,
it was amazing. It was there for a long time. They weren't finishing. They weren't coming out to refix it. It was
Yeah,
a mess.
it
I
was
was praying for you, Deb.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It was all insurance, but I have to tell you that nobody wants to live in that house anymore except for me. So that's a whole other problem. But thank you very much for thinking of me. I appreciate that.
All right, Frank. We
Okay, have a good one, Dr.
appreciate
Deb.
the call.
See you. Thanks, Larry.
Take care. You're welcome, man. All right, that was interesting. All right, cool. All right, by the way, if you guys are online, if you're watching online, feel free to leave us a comment. And also, if you want to call in, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. I'm really surprised nobody called in and reamed me out over the fact that, that I'm okay with the discount being lower.
But you know what I think was interesting? We've gotten a lot of comments about the last class.
Yeah.
And I'm almost wondering if we should take some snippets of that and post that on YouTube because we got a lot of feedback
YouTube?
from that. Not
I don't
YouTube,
want
but
anybody to.
not
I
well,
hate
whatever.
YouTube.
Like on, like maybe, I don't know, but I think we should consider splitting
Maybe,
some of that
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Because I know a lot of the people who
Sure.
managed to come in online, they're like, oh, I only caught this part. Can you replay it? And I've gotten a lot of, hey, can I see the replays? But they're not students. And I'm like, we don't really do that. But I wonder if maybe there's some snippets of that we can replay because it was really a fun class.
We might be able to do that. I think
Yeah.
it'd be a good idea. You know what we'll do? We're going to take a break now, but what we'll do is when we come back from the break, I'm going to go over some basics of credit score knowledge that people really have no idea.
Yeah, you got to, because there was a lot of engagement, a lot of questions, and a lot of like, oh my God, I didn't know anything about this, and it was really a fun class. I think you did a really good job on it last Thursday.
All right, awesome. I'll tell you what, Glenn, take us out. We'll be back in 2 minutes. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Are you afraid of the
Clear.
Thank you, sir. Great Reset won't apply
And
to
we have
those
to
who
do,
own real assets.
multiplier.
At Investor Schooling, we teach you how to own real assets like real estate, gold, silver, and other investments, including stocks, stock options, and even the basics of cryptocurrency. We even teach you how to pay thousands less in taxes legally. So go to investorschooling.com and find out how you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday. investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steiness, and you have probably heard my radio shows and listened to my great advice on how you can make more money and pay less taxes. Well, I just finished writing a book
See, at least people are
on
thinking
all
about me.
things
That's
I
fun.
teach at Investor Schooling and on my radio shows. This book is called Money Hacks, and you want a copy of this book, and you can pre-order this book wherever books are sold. Look for Money Hacks by Larry Steinhaus. Hey, it might even be a tax deduction. Order Money Hacks by Larry Steinhaus wherever books are sold, and come see me at Investor Schooling. This is Larry Steinhaus from Investor Schooling. Are you tired of being broke? If you
All right, you ready to come back?
Hey Glenn, that commercial, this one
Sign
that's
up for
running
a
now,
complimentary class this
can you delete
This
it? I
one?
hate it.
Oh, not to
Which one? This one?
Yeah, I just hate it.
All right, I'll tell Frank.
Yeah, I just hate it.
Frank will have to delete it, but I will
Okay.
send him a message about it.
You got it, man. Thanks.
It's called Larry Not Broke and Mick Testimonial.
The Nick testimonial is good, but Larry Not Broke, I don't like.
I don't.
He's got them plastered together.
Okay.
I'll send him. You don't want Larry Not Broke anymore?
Yeah, it's kind of boring. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Into another property and then closed on a
Well, you're kind of weird.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, what's where's the incongruity here?
Right?
Investor Schooling.
All right, you ready to come back?
Sure, why not?
We can.
don't know, this is the kind of music you just want to listen to, and you don't really want to come back. But I guess I gotta.
It's something.
All right, welcome back to Investor Schooling Live. I am. He's cranking it up.
That's really loud.
Are you cranking it up?
Yeah.
Man, you know.
Let's have fun today.
Sometimes the producer could be fired for doing stuff like that. right in the middle of my introduction.
Stop. He shows up. He shows up
Okay.
and hits the button.
Yeah,
so leave him alone.
Yeah, he does.
You said
All
you
right.
didn't want to. You said you wanted the music. So all
right,
go to the rock.
There you go.
All right, ready? So here's what I'm supposed to say as the music comes in. Welcome back to Investor Schooling Live. This is Larry Steinhaus, and I'm here with my co-host,
Dr. Anderson.
Dr. Deb Anderson.
Dr.
How
Deb.
cool is that? Yeah, that's right. Well, we might have to call you co-host for now, and it might actually work. So we've been talking about some cool stuff. We've been talking about the Biden wanting to, what people are saying, Biden wanting to punish those with high credit scores.
Yeah.
And I'm not so convinced that he's trying to punish them. I think he's trying to even the score a little bit. I kind of like the idea that people with lower credit scores can pay a little bit less money. Yeah, I'm not a fan that I have to pay a little bit more money, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. So that was my opinion on it. And we also were talking about credit scores. We did a great class on
That's a lot of
Thursday
fun.
about credit
Yeah,
scores.
it's a lot of
we
fun.
we talk. It's funny because people come to us like, I just want to learn real estate. I just want to learn stock options. And then 6 months later, like, wow, I didn't know
know.
all that stuff about money existed. I'm so glad I came to this school because we always tell people there's so much more than just real estate, so much more than just stock options.
Yeah.
We teach you how to make money. We also teach you how to keep it, and we also teach you how to make money in ways that you never even knew.
Yeah, so we had some people come in specifically for real estate and trust, and then we did
I know.
the credit score class, and it blew them away,
Yeah.
which was fantastic. So
Yeah, it was
really
funny
cool.
because we had a whole family come in and they wanted to know about real estate and trusts.
Yeah.
And I said, well, sorry, we're not talking about that tonight.
I know. I almost was wondering if you were going to switch or not, but no. So
And then every one of us after class, like, wow, I want to learn more about real estate and trust, but what you just taught us was amazing.
yeah,
So
no, it was good. It was a fun class.
So anyway, so this is one thing that most people don't know. They don't know how their credit score is calculated, right? They just think that, if they use their credit card and pay it off, and use their credit card and pay it off, and use their credit card and pay it off, they'll have a higher credit score. That's absolutely not true.
Right.
Great. Yes, if you owe too much money, your credit score is going to be damaged. There's no doubt. So here's the most important thing. So the first thing you need to understand is that credit scores go from 300 to 850 points. So the lowest you could possibly have is 300 points, and the highest you could possibly have is 850 points. So the question I always have is, why don't they just do 0 to 550?
Oh, yeah.
Right? But once
That would
you
be too easy, because
Yeah,
then
yeah,
it
of
would
course.
change everything. So that would
And
be too
850
easy.
sounds better than 550, I guess, right?
Yeah, 850
That might
sounds
be
better.
why.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it can go from 300 to 850 is what your credit score can go to. The most important amount of points, so there's a scoring system, and it's made up of 5 parts.
So I think you should preface this by saying that everything is in the Money Hacks book that you should.
I'm actually
consider.
reading it out of the Money Hacks
Yeah, that's what I'm
book,
saying.
you know?
You should kind of consider
Yeah,
plugging
I
that
probably
book
should.
because it's.
Yeah, so I'm reading Larry Steinhaus' Money Hacks.
Yeah.
It's the book that I wrote, and I have to read it to do this presentation because I can't remember what I wrote.
Right, and then there's 3 chapters I think dedicated
There's 3
to
chapters on credit.
dedicated
Exactly right.
to credit
And I'm
scores.
reading the first one, which is actually entitled. It's actually entitled "The Truth About Credit Scores."
There you go.
And I'm reading it from page 71. So if you have the book, you could actually grab this, and this is a great reference. Just this page alone, page 71. If you know nothing else, and you read page 71, you will understand how your credit score works. That's worth a lot more than $20 for the book. So if you want to order the book, Money Hacks by Larry Steinhaus, you can go to Amazon. We should give one away.
We should give one away. So
All right, what do you want to do? How do you want to give one away?
what's the name of the next chapter?
The name of the next chapter.
Yeah.
No, that would be somebody who already has it though.
Yeah. Oh, I guess that's true. That wouldn't make sense. All
Or,
right.
I mean, I don't even know if you could look it up online to find out.
Yeah. No, I guess that. Yeah. What was the other idea that Carl gave us that one time? Remember he gave us an idea?
I don't remember.
Yeah, that was what, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know what the
Yeah,
idea
that was
was.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
All
Whatever.
right, so let's do this. I don't care. Next person to call me and ask any question about credit scores can have a book. How's that?
All right.
All right. So I'll start preaching out of the book.
There you go. Preach.
And then somebody will call us at 855-939-1137.
And don't have the book.
855-939-1137.
Yeah, so-
855-939-1137, and I will send you an autographed copy of my book, Money Hacks, because everything you think you know about money is wrong. It's available on Amazon, and my phone number again is 855-939-1137. I might even have another gift for them too.
Oh, so you need to talk about
We'll
that.
talk about that when they call.
You need to
All
talk
right.
about that.
So check this out. So the very first thing that you need to understand is you already get 300 points for free.
Right.
So the 300 points is for free. The next thing is if you make your payments on time. By the way, if you're not making your payments on time, you have a problem.
Yeah.
This
so,
is there's nothing I can do to help you if you don't make your payments on time. If you in the past had some trouble making your payments and you continue to make your payments on time now, you will eventually be fine. Just don't miss payments anymore.
Yeah.
You know? So as long as you make your payments on time, you're going to get 192 and a half points. That's 192 and a half points just for making your payments on time.
Yeah.
So that now brings your credit score up to 492 and a half.
Okay.
So if you've done nothing else and just made your payments on time, you have almost a 500 credit score.
So
Now, I realize a 500 credit score isn't great, but let me explain what happens next.
yeah,
okay?
but that's like one of the most important things is make your
Right,
yeah,
because there's nothing
really-
you can do about that. Everything
Yeah.
else you can work on. Making your payments on time, if you're not making them, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
And it also has the highest amount of points, which is 192 and a half points, which almost 200 points
Yeah.
is you're making your payments on time. So if you have a couple of lates, your credit score is going to be damaged very fast. Here's the next one. Here's the most important one that will give you a good credit score and why I now have $818,500 worth of available credit on credit cards. So for you guys who didn't hear the beginning of the show, I can charge $818,500 on credit cards, which even Deb's shaking her head right now because she can't believe that why anybody would have that. Now, I buy houses on credit cards. I know you guys don't. Once you come to investor schooling, you'll get it.
Yeah.
If you're listening in the show, you probably just turn your radio up and he said, what? He buys houses on credit cards? How can you buy houses on credit card? I have to explain it to you. It's a very long process, but it's something that can be done. All right, so check this out. 165 points of your credit score is how much of your available credit is being used.
Okay.
So if you have, for example, if you have $10,000 available credit and you're using none of it, you will have 165 points. But if you have one credit card with $10,000 limit and you go buy something for $5,000, you now used up half of those points.
right.
So that's 88 and a half, 87 and a half points is taken up just in one transaction. So this is why you have to have higher credit limits. Because if I have $10,000 limit and I charge $5,000, that's 50% of my points.
Right.
But if I now have $100,000 in available credit and I charge $5,000, that's only 5% of my points. And in fact, anything from 0 to 9% is the full 165 points. So if your available credit is less than if you're using your credit less than 9% or less than 10%, I should say,
Less than
you'll have the full 165 points.
Okay.
So that's pretty powerful. That now brings your credit score up to almost 660. Now, understand there's three more pieces that make up your credit score. So you're already at 660 if you have less than 10% of your credit being used and you're making payments on time. Okay. All right. I'm going to get to the people online in 1 second. People are calling in 1 second. I'm going to go to the next one, which is your average age of credit. Now, this one is 82 and a half points. An average age of credit means like how long you've had credit for.
Right.
So if you're 18 years old and you applied for your first credit card, you had credit for 0 years.
Right.
So you're down 82 and a half points. You don't get the 82 and a half points. But as time goes by, and once it hits average age of 10 years, you get the full points. Now, for me, I average about 4.5 to 5 years average. Now I have a credit card that's 30 years old, but because I apply for so many credit cards, you average how long I've had all the credit cards for,
Oh, it's
and
the
you average it together. It's
Okay.
something like 5 years. So I'm
Okay.
actually losing points on this one, which is okay. But let's do this before we go to the other two things. The other two things, which makes up the other 110 points. I'm gonna actually take a couple of calls. We've got it looks like we got Tom from Conshohocken. What's going on, Tom?
Hi. It's a beautiful day here in Conshohocken.
I know and I'm here in the radio station, and you guys are out there, and I'm wondering why nobody on Facebook is watching. Are you at least outside?
AM radio, baby, sitting in my house.
Oh, there you go.
You're in your house on a beautiful day?
Well, how about that? Well, I'm here to make a phone call to get to my next appointment, and I had to go back to my house because I'm actually involved in a festival at Plymouth Whitemarsh High School, and did the work in the morning, and they want me to go back and and tear everything down with my pickup truck. So I'm like in limbo, I guess.
You get paid for that?
How about that? No, it's volunteer. It's all Plymouth White Marsh Arts Center at the Plymouth White Marsh High School today. In Plymouth White Marsh, they're having like a spring festival. Thousands of people, lots of kiosks and food courts, and it's just a great day.
So congratulations.
I'll be going back.
So Tom, congratulations. I'm going to say
Hey.
one thing. So, by the way, if you ever wanted to be a philanthropist and you had no money and you couldn't be a philanthropist, Tom is doing philanthropy work.
Yeah.
You may not think about this as philanthropy work, but he's taking his time that he could be doing something else somewhere else, and he's doing it for an organization who needs his help.
Yeah.
I hate to tell you, but that's philanthropy work. Actually, I'm glad to tell you that's philanthropy work. You guys need everyone out there. Volunteer. If you don't have money,
needs to give
volunteer.
back. Needs
I
to
don't
give
even
back.
like to give money to organizations. My philosophy in giving money to organizations is I find out what they need and I buy it for them.
Yeah.
So if they need, if they need ovens or stoves, I did this recently, or if they need whatever food, I buy the food. That's how I do it because I just like it that way. It's just But if you want to give money, that's fine. But if you can't give money, you can't buy them something. Give them your time. So thank you, Tom. That's awesome. Now, what is your question?
Yeah. Well, I kind of messed up my credit in the last couple of years. As I was younger, I'm 60 years old. As I was younger, from my first credit card, as you mentioned, like out of college, I really did really well. I didn't make much money, but I was always able to pay my bills on time. And for years and years and years, working on it, ended up being able to get financing on a truck and years ago. And I was really proud of myself. As the years went by, I found life got a little bit harder, and I wasn't able to pay my credit card on time, rent on time, and things of that nature. Now, years coming into the present, in the last couple of years, I've been able to really work hard at paying my bills on time.
Okay.
So I got thinking, I'm just a renter, and I rent like a storage garage. I think I rent these things that are like offline when it comes to major credit cards, telephone companies, mortgage payments, and things of that nature. I want to know, like, is there any way I could get involved in something that I can report my rental payments to my landlord? Or I can, I rent a room in someone's house. I don't even rent my own apartment. Can I, like, if I rent a garage, can I somehow report that to somebody?
All right,
As I get my payment going, I can.
Your end goal is you want to
increase
boost your
my-
credit, right?
Yeah.
That's your end goal. Okay, so do you want to reveal what your credit score is, or are you not comfortable with that?
No, I don't even know what it is because the last time
okay, that's
I
the
applied
first
for
thing.
a credit card.
All right, here's the first thing. I want you to go to creditkarma.com. It's karma with a K, credit with a C, creditkarma.com. It's a free account. All right. Now, look, Credit Karma they use a different scoring system. They don't use the FICO. They use the, what's it called?
Vantage, is it?
Vantage, yeah. Vantage 9 credit system. And it's okay. You'll get an idea of what your credit score is. Just an idea. It'll be close enough. And you'll also get to see what credit is in your name. The interesting part is the best thing for you to do is apply for credit cards and get more credit cards, and that will raise your credit score.
I know
more credit cards.
Everybody freaks out over that, but that's
know.
actually the best thing to do.
So what'd you say, Tom? You have no credit cards?
Well, no, I have one credit card. I used to have a lot, but I got so bad that I put it down to one. And then I recently paid that balance off a couple of months ago.
That's good.
Another thing, too, is I went to go buy tires at Tires Plus. I think if I can say that. And they said, well, if you apply for credit with our company, you'll get like this kind of a discount. And I said, oh, that's not going to work. I just know how bad it is.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, go ahead. You get $100 just by applying. So I did. And immediately I was rejected.
Well, so here's two things. One is it's good you were rejected, and it's good that they gave you $100. So here's the reason why. Never get a department store credit card. Only get Visa, MasterCard, Discover, or American Express. And the reason for that is, and let me tell you the reason for that. It's kind of an interesting reason when you think about it. If I have a Macy's card, for example, right, or a Tires Plus card, right? I have a Tires Plus card. What is the only thing I could buy with a Tires Plus card? Tires, right? Or auto repairs, right? But if I have a really bad financial situation and I need to go buy food this week, I can't take my Tires Plus card and go into the supermarket and buy food. But your Visa card, you can go into the supermarket and buy food with your Visa card, and you can go to Tires Plus and get tires.
Yeah.
So always have Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover card, and
The Apple card?
What was that?
Your Apple card? Apple has
The Apple
card.
card, yeah, but the Apple card's weird.
All right.
I mean, it's fine, but it's just fine. It's just a weird card.
Okay.
And you can't get it. You can't use it. It's
Well, just
a
because
card.
they're giving them out now,
Right,
you might
yeah,
as
they are
well
giving
just,
them out. The only exception I usually tell people in my class is Home Depot and Lowe's.
Oh, right.
And the reason I say Home Depot and Lowe's is because, look, we're real estate investors, and if we're working on a project and we need to get $20,000 worth of stuff for a project we're working on, we can get that with 24%, 24-month free interest from Home Depot. So that's the only reason I suggest Lowe's and Home Depot if you're a real estate investor. If you're not, then I don't. All right. So here's what I want you to do, Tom. I want you to, number one, I want you to pay all your bills on time. That's the number one thing. I want you to apply for credit cards. I want you to go to discover.com, apply for a credit card. Who are some of the easy ones? Do you ever get in the mail? You ever get the credit card offers?
Yes, I do, but sometimes I don't feel like they're major banks. I feel like I want to be with
they're not.
Banks, Wells Fargo. Anyway,
what's the difference? Get any one.
I just drive around town and see local branches, and then I see these addresses, return addresses, and they're from other places far away. I sometimes I don't know.
You want to talk? You want to listen to the expert, or you want to make up your own rules?
No. That's why I'm calling.
Here's what I'm telling you. All right, apply for the cards that you get in the mail.
Yeah, just
The
apply.
only exception is if they're cards that they charge you a really large fee. Like sometimes they'll give you a $500 limit, but they charge you $100 for the $500 limit. Then you're making payments under $100 that they're charging you for. Yeah, that's going to help your credit. But why would you want to pay $100 to get that? So if you can get ones without major fees, even if it's $500 or $1,000, get the cards. If you get the cards, it'll actually increase your credit. I know it sounds weird, but it's the truth. It'll increase your credit score. And then as you start to increase your credit score, you'll be open to other things. So your 2 homework assignments are, number 1, you're going to open up a Credit Karma account, and number 2, you're going to apply for credit cards. Got it?
Yeah, but with Credit Karma, can I tell that I made my landlord payment, I made my storage payment, I made my garage payment?
Credit Karma is going to show you what your credit score is now. That's all. But those payments you're making.
I just wanted to figure is the way I can report this stuff. I can report like the payments that I am making that I don't think they're going to be picked up.
So here you're trying to solve the problem by your own way. Your problem is your credit score is low. I'm teaching you how to fix that. Your way won't work. Okay. My way will. Go do it. And I'm going to tell you, Glenn, do me a favor. Grab his information. I'm going to send him a book. And I know Harry's been waiting for us. So connect us to Harry. What's going on, Harry?
Oh, not much, man. I'm just happy listening to you.
Are you enjoying the show?
Very much, man. Very much. I have a question about the credit card.
Okay.
So if you have, let's say if you have 5 credit cards and with 4 of them with low balances and 1 that is maxed out.
Okay.
Would that lower your credit score?
So the answer is yes and no.
I was going to say it's yes and no.
So it depends on what credit score credit model they're using. So on the Vantage 9, so if you actually go to Credit Karma, like I suggested Tom, if you actually go to Credit Karma, your credit score is going to look bad because one of your credit cards is maxed out.
Right.
Okay, but if you go to FICO score, it's not going to be anywhere near as bad because FICO doesn't check it that way. They don't care that you maxed out one card. They're looking at your total amount. So if you have total of, I don't know, let's say a total of 30,000 and you have 3 cards and each one's 10,000, on the Vantage 9 score, it's better to have 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, whatever, 3,300, 3,300, 3,300 on the Vantage 9 score. But in FICO, they don't really care if it's 10,000 on one and 0 and 0. So if your goal, by the way...
Which model that was...
Good. Which model do most people use?
Which one of the models that most banks use? Yeah.
All right, so here's a question for you. Are you about to buy a house or a car?
A car possibly.
Okay. So what you could you don't really know what model they're going to use most of the time. They use the FICO model most of the time.
I think they use
But
FICO.
sometimes they'll pull in another model, and most likely what will happen is if you're really looking for just to get the loan itself, you're looking for a 620 or above, just to get the loan, right? But again, you're going to get dinged a little bit, and the best number is 740 or above to get dinged the least, and actually you'll start to get bonuses, even though Biden puts a little bit of them away.
Whatever.
You'll start to get discounts. So if your credit score is somewhere between 620 and 740, and you want to raise it, you might be able to balance that out by balancing out the 3 cards, like maybe using one to pay another one. Now, a lot of times you get those 0% checks. You might want to use the 0% checks and pay one of those loans down. So now you have 50 and 50 instead, and 5,000 instead of 10,000, if you know what I mean, right? So it's better,
Yeah.
believe it or not, it's still better to only use 1/3 of your credit on each one of the cards. But if you haven't done that, for whatever reason, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. I know that was a vague answer, but that is the answer.
So I just want to add two things that I want to make sure that everybody understands. One is that we encourage you to get apply for credit cards, but we're not saying use them and load them up,
Right.
So I just want to make sure that because you haven't said that yet, and I just want to make sure everybody understands that. So we encourage you to get credit cards, but we're not saying go and spend the world on them because that's not what you want to do. Okay.
Exactly.
And then what was the other thing that I was going to say? Oh, to not get them combined with your spouse.
Right. So here's an interesting one too. So piggybacking. So let me talk about something called piggybacking first, and then I'll talk about combining with your spouse.
Okay.
So let's say you have a child who's 19 years old and they have no credit cards, they have no credit, and they want to go buy a car, they want to go buy a house, or whatever the series may be. Their credit score is going to be kind of low. You could raise their credit score by making them a authorized user on your account. Now, not an authorized user, really a card holder. They actually changed the name to authorized user a few years ago, which is confusing.
Okay.
But what they really want you to do is get a card in that person's name on your account. So, for example, if my son Joshua needed to boost his credit, I could boost his credit by adding one of my cards to his credit score simply by putting him on my account. Now, I would get that card. So that card would come to me to have his name on it. Now, if my son Joshua's name on it, I would take that card, I would cut it in half, and he would never be able to use it.
Right.
As long as I kept my credit, that credit low, that didn't use that credit card or hardly use that credit card, his credit score would get a boost from it. So that's a really great thing. So now a lot of people think that because I just said that, it's a great idea to have your spouse on your credit card. It's a terrible idea to have your spouse on your credit card. And here's why. And it's actually very simple, right? You've ever heard of the expression significant other? Significant other, right?
Yep.
And here's why I'm going to use that. I'm going to get back to significant other and what it means in a minute. But if my wife and I have joint accounts and I screw up my credit, I've screwed up her credit. So if we have separate accounts, which is really important, if we have separate accounts, I screw up my credit, her credit is still good. That way she could become my significant other. You know what that means, right? Sign if I can't. Sign if I can't other.
Okay.
Sign if I can't other. Significant other. Sign if I can't other. So if I messed up my credit and her credit's still good and we want to buy a house, we can use her credit to buy the house. So that's why you want to make sure that you have separate credit. And I mean, we got into this. We did this for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And we're talking about it for 20 minutes. There's so many pieces to this. There's so many great stuff about how building a credit score that most people have no idea. And since we have 5 minutes, I want to get to the last 2 points. So the other thing is 55 points is the type of credit you have. And I think we still got Harry on the line. Glenn, let him go.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then get his number so we can get his book. Thank you.
You got it.
All right, man. All right, so real quick. So 55 points is the type of credit that you have. And what that is, 55 points is, that would be, you want to have multiple different kinds of credit. So if you only have credit cards or if you only have a mortgage, they're not going to give you the full amount of points. Now, it's vague. I haven't been able to figure out the exact amount of accounts you got to have, but it would be good if you have a car loan, a mortgage, and maybe a personal loan or maybe some other loan. If you have those, you're going to get the full 55 points.
Okay.
Now, here's the one that the most confusing one of all. And I love this because you have, especially mortgage brokers will tell you this all the time. They'll say, if you're going for a mortgage, don't apply for credit. Well, yes and no. So inquiries
Yeah, I was going to say the inquiries.
will affect your credit score. And everybody knows that inquiries will affect your credit score. Here's the thing that most people don't know. The absolute most that you could be affected is 55 points. So once you reach actually 10 inquiries, and I always have 30 or more, which is funny because I'm always applying for credit cards. I apply for more credit cards in a month than most people apply for in their life. I just do it for sport. I just want to see if I can get the credit card. And, it's just fun to me. So I'm at $818,500. My goal is $1 million. And here, it's just sport. I just want to do it just so I can say, hey, look, I reached $1 million. And who cares? It's not important. But think about this. If it is $1 million, I could charge up to $100,000 and it won't affect my credit score. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
So anyway, so it's 55 points as inquiries on your credit. And what that means is if you have 10 inquiries, you've lost the 55 points. If you have 5 inquiries, well, then you got 27 and a half.
27, yeah.
You've lost 27 and a half points, right? If you have less than 3 inquiries, you don't lose any points. Less than 2 inquiries, I'm sorry. If you have less than 2 inquiries, you don't lose any points. So understand, the mortgage broker is correct when they say don't apply, because they're not asking you what your inquiries on your credit score are now. If they knew, first of all, they don't know anyway, because I'm telling you, I don't care who your mortgage broker is, they don't know anything about your credit score. They just know that if they tell you not to apply for credit, it's safer. Now, I did this last year on purpose. I applied. Some of you guys know that it was a year and a half ago. I actually did 13 mortgages, and while I was doing those 13 mortgages, I applied for 3 or 4 credit cards, just because I wanted to prove that it could be done. I got all the credit cards. I even got a car loan, and it didn't affect my mortgages whatsoever.
Okay.
Because I just want, but understand that for the normal person who doesn't know what I know, it might. Okay, because I knew how to make sure that didn't happen. All right. I actually don't even know what time we're at, Glenn. Can you just put up on time? I'm pretty sure I know what time, but I know we're getting close, so that's why I wanted to know. All right. So real quick, we got a couple of people for. That's right. We got a couple of people who are going to get the book. We got Tom getting the book. I believe Harry's going to get the book, and that's really cool. And I got something else for them. Well, I can't give it to them now because I do, but I got something for everybody else. I want you guys to know this is what we're going to be doing. We're doing something special. It's called the Money Multiplier Workshop, and we do this 4 times a year. We missed the first one, so this will actually be the first one of the year, so we're actually going to do it 3 times this year. The Money Multiplier Workshop. And it's $97. It's a full-day workshop. You don't have to be a student. You don't have to even come back again. I don't even care. It's a different kind of thing. You know, on Thursday night it's free, but that's only a small 2-hour window, and we teach about one topic. On the Money Multiplier Workshop, we do multiple topics, and we have really cool people who are going to be there. I'm going to be there. Dr. Deb's going to be there. We got some amazing speakers like Bill Walsh, Brent Kessler, Hannah Kessler, Chris Noggle. Yeah. So these are people you may not know who they are, but you want to know who they are. All right, so you go to 4 mmw.com, the number 4 mmw.com, and you can sign up for that, the number 4 mmw.com. Of course, if you want to take a class this Thursday, go to investorschooling.com. That's always free. We always give you a free class, and it's a free class. It's not a sales presentation. It's a free class. We're going to teach you something, whatever we're teaching our students that day. So be prepared for that. So you just go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. I want to thank everybody, including Glenn. Take care.
If you're clear, just give me a second.